Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Around the World. The recent developments in Pakistan's politics have, in a way, reset the entire country's democratic structure. And at the center of the story is the 27th Constitutional Amendment, which President Asif Ali Zardari signed on 13 November 2025. The moment this proposal was presented, it was passed by the Senate the same day, and the day before, it had passed the National Assembly. The speed itself suggests that everything was pre-decided. Only the formal stamp was left. This is where it all begins. Now the question arises, why has this amendment become such a major issue? It's not just about a law, it completely changes Pakistan's political system. Such a change that experts are calling the ruin of Pakistan's constitution. The first major change is the new position of Chief of Defence Forces or CDF. This position will always remain with the Army Chief. In other words, the Army Chief will now not only be the Army Chief but also the Supreme Commander of all three armed forces: Army, Navy and Air Force. Earlier, this role was performed by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee, but now that position has practically become irrelevant. Along with this, Pakistan's 5-star rank officers have been given full legal immunity. No case can be filed against them in any court at any time. This right is not even given to Pakistan's president or prime minister. This means that the top military leadership is now completely outside the legal framework. Furthermore, the powers of the Supreme Court have also been limited. A new federal constitutional court has been created, which will now make the final decisions in constitutional matters. The role of the Supreme Court will be very limited. Many judges, such as Justice Mansoor Ali Shah, have described this as the end of the judiciary and resigned in protest. But why has all this happened suddenly? The story unfolds in several layers. The first layer comes from Pakistan's internal instability. Since 2021, the number of terrorist attacks in Pakistan has been continuously increasing. TTP, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, has been gaining strength again, and the return of the Taliban in Afghanistan has worsened the situation. In March 2025, the Jafar Express train hijacking incident completely alerted the army. At the same time, Asim Munir raised the question of why Pakistan, despite facing such major security crises, is still a soft state. His statement created a narrative that the country needs a strong hand, and this strong hand could only come from the army. The second layer comes from India. The tension between India and Pakistan during April-May 2025 also strengthened the position of the military. When the situation deteriorated to the point of resembling war, the army presented itself as the real shield of the country. In this backdrop, Asim Munir was given a 5-star rank and made a field marshal, a position that lasts for life and gives almost the highest national authority. The third layer is public discontent. Imran Khan's arrest, rigged elections, and actions against PTI leaders and protesters have increased public resentment towards both the army and the government. But the army used this opportunity not as a threat but as a chance. It took advantage of the situation and said that Pakistan's political institutions had failed and the country's security was now in jeopardy. Under the guise of this danger, the army tried to present itself as the only support for the country's stability. The story of the hybrid model. A few years ago, former Army Chief Bajwa had said that the army wanted to keep a distance from politics, but the reality has always been the opposite. Pakistan has long been operating under a hybrid model, democracy on the surface, but the real power lies with the army. The difference was that earlier it was informal. Now, with the 27th Amendment, it has been officially institutionalized. Along with this, the army has also removed its weaknesses in this model, such as the risk of prosecution against the army chief or interference from the Supreme Court. Now, both avenues are completely closed. Foreign policy also in the hands of the army. Another interesting aspect is that Pakistan's foreign policy is gradually coming entirely into the hands of the army. Whether it is Saudi Arabia, Turkey, China or the USA, Asim Munir has been seen conducting talks himself, often in the absence of the Prime Minister. For example, the solo meeting with President Trump at the White House, meeting with China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi, direct talks with Egypt's President Al-Sisi. All of this shows who Pakistan's main representative now is. The Saudi-Pakistan defense deal has also moved forward due to the army. Pakistan is trying to gain economic assistance by offering its military power, particularly China and Turkey's technology, to countries like Saudi Arabia. The essence of the entire story. If the entire story is to be understood in one line, it is this. The 27th Amendment legally, politically, and institutionally gives the army supreme status in Pakistan. This is a turning point in Pakistan's politics where the facade of democracy remains, but the real control is entirely in the hands of the army. The country's internal instability, tensions with India, terrorism, economic crises, and public resentment. The army has used all these factors together to create an environment where it can present itself as the final guardian. And today, after the 27th Amendment, this role is not just a narrative, but it has become a part of Pakistan's constitution, official and permanent. So viewers, let's end the discussion here and take today's question. How does the increasing role of the Pakistani army in foreign policy affect regional stability? Evaluate the impact, particularly on India-Pakistan relations and security arrangements in West Asia.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.